It was a dark and stormy night. Heavy rain was pouring down. Evan was alone at home while the rest of his family had gone out on a picnic trip. Suddenly, he heard the doorbell ring. Evan quickly walked to the door and saw two beautiful women standing outside, completely soaked from the rain. They had come asking for help. Evan was a handsome young man, so he decided to let both women inside. What happened after that? Let's continue the story. The movie opens with a couple. The husband's name is Evan, and the wife's name is Karen. Their children interrupt them. It's Evan's birthday, and the kids have brought him a cake along with a present. Evan is happy to receive the gift. Everything seems to be going well. Karen works at an art gallery, while Evan is an architect. The whole family has breakfast together and then gets ready for their day. Evan and Karen plan to take their children on a beach trip. However, at the last moment, Evan receives an urgent work assignment related to his architecture project, so he has to cancel his plan. Karen decides to take the kids to the beach without him, while Evan stays home with their dog. That night, while Evan is working on his urgent project, he receives a call from his wife. He happily talks to his sons and then becomes romantic while speaking to Karen. In the middle of the call, the doorbell rings. He opens the door. He sees two young women standing in the rain, completely drenched. One of them introduces herself as Bella and the other as Genesis. They tell Evan that they were on their way to a party but got lost, and because of the rain, their phones had died. Hearing this, Evan hesitates for a moment but decides to help them and invites them inside. First, he gives them towels and hands one of them an iPad so she can search for the party's location. Bella thanks him. The other girl checks and realizes that the party location is very far from there. Both of them look worried. Evan tells them not to worry and says he'll call a cab. He finds one that will arrive in about 45 minutes. Since the girls are completely soaked from the rain, they quietly discuss among themselves. Evan asks if they need anything. They say they need to change their clothes and ask to use his bathroom. Evan agrees. After a while, he offers to check their phones to see if he can fix them, and he takes the phones with him. Outside, the rain continues pouring heavily. Inside, the girls freshen up in the bathroom and then return to Evan, who's making coffee for them. They are happy, and Evan serves them coffee. He then takes their wet clothes to another room to dry them. When he comes back, he finds the girls dancing playfully with his dog beside them. Evan gently takes the dog and says it's time for him to sleep. After putting the dog away, he returns and sits down with the girls, continuing their conversation. Evan asks what they do for a living. They tell him they are flight attendants and take great care of their passengers. Then they start demonstrating what their job is like, playfully showing him how they work as flight attendants. However, while doing so, they begin to flirt and subtly seduce him. Evan feels uncomfortable and moves to another chair. The girls ask about his family. Evan tells them that his family is at the beach and will be staying there for the night. Hearing this, the girls become even more excited. Bella walks over and stands very close to Evan, while Genesis continues talking to him. Meanwhile, Evan sits back down on the couch, and the girls once again come over and sit close to him, flirting. Evan doesn't directly stop them, but he shifts away slightly and keeps the conversation casual. He checks his phone and sees that the cab will arrive in about 20 minutes. The girls ask him about his wife. Evan explains that his wife creates paintings for an art gallery. He even shows them one of her artworks. As the conversation continues, the two girls gradually move closer to him. Evan repeatedly tries to ignore their advances. They begin talking about the kind of men they like, while Evan mostly just listens without encouraging them. When Genesis goes to the bathroom, Evan turns on some music to lighten the mood. Bella starts swaying to the music, and Evan tries to avoid looking at her. He turns up the music slightly, trying to keep things relaxed and normal. Bella tells him she's actually enjoying being there more than she probably would have at the party. Saying that, she tries to get closer to Evan. Just 2 minutes before the cab arrives, Bella and Genesis take advantage of Evan stepping away and go into the bathroom together. Evan quickly finishes drying their clothes and walks to the bathroom door, telling them their clothes are dry and that their cab has arrived. But inside, they're casually showering and ignoring him. Even after he repeatedly asks them to come out, they don't respond. Finally, Evan covers his eyes with one hand and steps inside to hand them their clothes. Inside, he realizes they are showering with They invite him to join them and start clinging to him. Evan initially resists because he is married and knows it's wrong. He tries hard to ignore them, but as they continue to push boundaries and get closer to him, he eventually gives in to his emotions and stays with him in the bathroom. Meanwhile, after waiting for some time, the cab driver leaves. The next morning, when Evan wakes up and doesn't see the girls, he assumes they have left. But then he hears laughter coming from the kitchen. When he goes there, he sees that they've made a huge mess. The girls are eating food carelessly in his kitchen and say they want to stay there. Evan becomes worried and tells them to leave, but they refuse to go. At that moment, Evan receives a video call from Karen. He steps outside to talk to his wife. After finishing the call, he comes back inside, now angry, and tells the girls to get dressed and get out of his house immediately. The girls run to change their clothes, and the house becomes quiet. But after a while, Evan sees them vandalizing his wife's artwork. Furious, he tells them he's going to call the police and that if they want to avoid jail, they need to leave right now. Bella and Genesis start laughing. They manipulate Evan by telling him that he was involved with them the previous night. They warn him that if he calls the police. Hearing this, Evan realizes what a terrible mistake he made the night before. He asks them how much money they want and what they're after. But the girls tell him they're not thieves or criminals. They don't want his money. Just then, someone rings the doorbell. When Evan opens the door, he sees Karen's friend, Vivian. She has come to check if he needs anything while his family is away. Evan becomes extremely nervous, afraid that she might see Bella and Genesis inside the house. While they're talking, Genesis suddenly comes out and clings to Evan. Seeing this, Vivian assumes Evan is having an affair with the girl. Furious, she insults him and storms off. Evan, now even angrier, goes back inside and tries to seriously confront Genesis. Both girls mock him. They seem amused, while Evan is clearly distressed. In a burst of frustration, Evan grabs Genesis, and she finally goes quiet. Overwhelmed with anger, Evan starts dialing the police for real this time. Seeing this, Bella and Genesis panic and quickly agree to leave. Evan drives them away and drops them off in front of a house a short distance from his own. When he returns home, he notices that Bella and Genesis have left the house in a terrible mess. He spends hours cleaning and putting everything back in order. By the time he finishes, it's already night. Exhausted, he sits down to continue his architectural work when he suddenly hears something fall inside the house. He walks toward the sound. He sees that a family photo has fallen to the floor. As he bends down to pick it up, Genesis suddenly appears behind him, and Evan regains consciousness sometime later. He finds himself tied to the bed with ropes. He shouts at Genesis to untie him, but she ignores him. Then Bella walks in wearing his daughter's school uniform. Shocked and disturbed, Evan tells her to take it off, but she refuses. She steps onto the bed and starts dancing. Desperate, Evan tells her he loves her and begs her to untie him. Hearing this, Genesis tries to stop Bella, but Bella begins to believe that Evan truly loves her. The next moment, however, Bella becomes angry and starts lashing out at him. Soon Genesis joins her. Together, they begin stripping Evan's clothes while he struggles to stop them. Just then, Evan's phone receives a video call from his wife, Karen. Genesis tells him that if he refuses to be with Bella, they will completely and show Karen on the video call, claiming he is enjoying himself with them. Under pressure and fear, Evan gives in. Bella begins playing a twisted game with him while Genesis records everything. After some time, Genesis leaves the room to get something to eat. Taking advantage of the moment, Evan uses all his strength to loosen the ropes around his hands while pretending to go along with Bella. He finally frees himself and pushes Bella off the bed. He then rushes toward Genesis, who is in the other room eating. He tries to stop her, but Genesis attacks him again. Bella and Genesis stand before him, starting to play a cruel quiz. They turn the music up loud and start dancing. Evan can't understand what's happening to him. The two girls take turns coming close to him, waiting for him to answer their questions correctly. Whenever he gives the right answer, they tell him to relax for a moment. Just then, the doorbell rings. It's Louis, a worker who collaborates with Karen, arriving to pick up a sculpture she made. Seeing him, Genesis and Bella quickly hide Evan in a room. Genesis opens the door and tells Louis that they are Evan's cousins. She explains that a thief broke into the house and Evan ran after him to catch him. Louis greets Genesis, impressed by how convincingly both girls present themselves. For a moment, he doesn't suspect anything, but then he notices Karen's artwork, which has been badly damaged. His suspicion grows. He tells them Evan doesn't have any cousins. He says he should call the police. The girls try to stop him. He hesitates, then suddenly hears Evan shouting from inside. Louis rushes to a room. Meanwhile, outside, Bella and Genesis start smashing more of Karen's expensive artwork. Louis runs toward them to stop it, but suddenly he suffers an asthma attack. His inhaler is in Genesis's possession. He desperately tries to get it back. In the struggle, he stumbles. Seeing them laugh, Evan realizes they are completely psychotic. He begs them to call an ambulance, but that only makes them more amused. They enjoy watching him suffer. Evan, trapped in a room, desperately tries to think of a way to escape. Then they use Lewis's phone and Evan's phone to send fake messages, trying to frame the situation as an affair between Karen and Lewis. Their plan is to make it look like Evan discovered the affair. After that, they return to Evan and resume their twisted questioning. They show him a photo of his wife and ask, "Do you love her?" Bella taunts him, saying, "Didn't you think about your wife? The truth is, you're a cheater. You can't be trusted." Evan shouts back that they were the ones who came asking for help, and he only tried to assist them. He pleads with them to stop. Soon after, the girls dig a large hole in the backyard. Lewis. Still tied to a chair, Evan tries to call Karen using his iPad, but Genesis and Bella catch him, snatch it away, and laugh cruelly. They continue destroying the house and cut Evan's hair short to humiliate him, and tells Bella to untie him. She announces they are going to play hide and seek, and if they catch him, they will Evan runs and hides inside the house while the girls search for him one by one. He hides in a room and seizes a chance to run outside, but Genesis finds him. Evan screams for help. A few hours later, Karen returns home with the children. Seeing the house completely destroyed, she is confused and assumes that Evan must have thrown a wild party with his friends while she was away. And with that, the movie comes to an end.